So we started brainstorming on all of these ideas. We almost brainstormed for I think 10 to 15 days, and we decided upon solving the fertilizer feeding problem for farmers. Reason being, farmers were very accessible for us.
Because Belgaum's demographic is such that just from any place or any location from Belgaum, just in 4 or 5 kilometers you will find a farm.
Yeah.
So it was very accessible for us.
And also this solution was simple and easy for us to build.
Yeah, and initially we
yeah.
felt it. It was very simple and easy to build. Yes, so we finalized fertilizer feeding machine.
So we spoke to a lot of experts from Kisan call center. Every day I think we used to call them 25 to 30 times and we used to ask them what is their solution for fertilizer feeding, efficient way of fertilizer feeding basically.
Yeah, I remember like once the expert from Kisan call center, he almost like scolded me. Okay, there is nothing or there is no machine to feed fertilizer. It has to put by the hand. So yeah, but imagine, right, feed fertilizer with hand and by bending for around 1500 to 2000 plants in just 1 acre. So it was not so feasible.
Yeah.
So
and because the actual scientific method to feed fertilizer is to feed to each and every plant, which the farmer has to do by bending so many times. But because this is a very tedious task, farmers basically just broadcast the fertilizers, or even they sometimes, even when they just put it from a very from a lot of height. They carry around like 7 to 8 kgs of bucket in their hands. So that's how much weight they carry, and they have to do a lot of to and fro. A lot of disadvantages with this method that we saw, which affects the yield of farmers and his income as well. And the fertilizer that he is broadcasting or throwing away is not just fertilizer, it is actually the farmer's money.
The major reason to choose fertilizer feeding problem as our first challenge was, so we as a engineers or we as a engineering student, we felt like engineering degree would be our assets, right? And there were industries around the college. We felt like for a business owner or industry person, their industries are their assets. But we felt like for farmer, what is his asset? It was his soil or his land, right? And we figured it out by throwing fertilizer. He was spoiling his only one asset, that was the soil. Because of throwing fertilizer, the soil fertility used to come down. So we felt like that time this was one of the major and need of the hour problem we could solve.
And farmers being the backbone of our country, right? I mean, I actually got to know after doing so much research how much of GDP is contributed through agriculture, and majority of our GDP comes through agriculture. So we came up with the next version of prototype wherein we wanted to solve the issue where farmer can just easily carry this prototype, right? So we used a old school backpack which the farmer can easily carry it on his bag, and which is connected to a pipe. And for flexible pipe, we couldn't find a specific hose. I think we used a old cycle tube, and for an actuator we used a key ring and a manja, kite ka manja. So this was a prototype which we made out of like what, 200 rupees, 200 to 50 rupees.
And yeah, with this
and the very surprising thing for us also was farmer was ready to buy this prototype. It is very difficult for farmers to take the money out, to pay, because they think a lot. And seeing this prototype, it was just a very jugadu prototype, and the farmer was ready to buy them.
And it was, but it was very jugadu. We couldn't found and that age, right, or first year of engineering, we never know how to, we didn't know how to design a spring or where to find the right spring. We used rubber bands, and we used a small flexible component from the Rangoli pen what they use in house. And with this this prototype was very functional.
So we were building prototypes for fertilizer feeder, and amidst all this, there was a dark issue that was going on in our nation, which was the rape case of Nirbhaya. It was almost 2 years after Nirbhaya, and there were protests going on all over the nation. There were candle marches happening to mark the 2-year anniversary, and we had just come back from the candle march, and we were there in our parking lot, and we got the news that there was another rape case that had happened in Belgaum, in our own city. And we were like, what are we doing as engineers? I mean, what best can we do for this to prevent such issues?
Yeah, and we started brainstorming what gadget or what we can do, right? And I remember within 1 or 2 days, these 2 days we were continuous in touch with each other on phone call. We started discussing. We come up with different ideas.
We tried to find what are the existing solutions that are available in the market for such things, and we found that there are just like big pepper sprays or stun guns which were not even available during that time in India. They were all just available abroad, but these were the only solutions or self-defense gadgets that were there in the market. It is very difficult in such panic situations that you need to carry the stun gun or the pepper spray in your handbag, right? And it's very difficult in such panic situations to remove that or open it from your bag and then use it upon someone in a situation where a girl literally freezes. I mean, you can't even move your finger, you can't even open your mouth or try to shout for help. So,
yeah, it's a panic and freezing situation.
This required a lot of credibility and financial stability for this, and that's why we thought we'll do it after 2 years. We'll work on the fertilizer feeder, we'll get it out in the market, and then we will enter into the we'll work for the women's safety is what we had planned.
Yeah, and when we approached with this women safety wearable gadget to some investors or some bigger industry people, right? So there was a question kind of like, what is your reputation, or if you don't have the related experience in gadget or high deep tech or high end products. So these questions were there. So we thought like, let's build that experience with simple idea first. So that's the reason we started or continued the fertilizer feeder wala idea.
And I think back in 2014 there was no much hype or there was no ecosystem for startup as such as it is for today's world, wherein even an 8th standard kid coming up with a startup is very normal, you know.
Yeah.
But back then there were very less opportunities for us, and we have been rejected so many times even during our pitches. They have chosen us for the awards but then rejected us saying that we are just students. So yeah, we had to build credibility. We're just second year engineering students. To prevent such issues, as engineers, we came up with the idea of self-defense wearables, which a woman can wear it during such panic situations to defend herself and get that 10 minutes of escape time, and also call for help.
Yeah. And industry experts and our professors, they felt it very innovative and very efficient or very good ideas. And that time we started getting suggestions to file a patent. And yes, we filed patent.
Yeah, that was the first patent that we actually filed.
Yeah.